The Living Dead Judge Mortis origin explored. I bring you release from the ways of wickedness, one of the favorite lines of a powerful being taking on the appearance of a skeletal monstrosity whose aim is to wipe out human life. Scary, right? Judge Mortis, along with death, fear, and fire, is one of the 4 dark judges. He was previously a judge from the parallel realm Deadworld, but the 2 sisters of death changed him into his terrifying form. His abilities cause everything he touches to rot and deteriorate in quality quickly. He is one of the judges who declared that all life was a sin and began murdering everyone on their planet with the help of the other judges of death. When they were finished, they began invading other dimensions and annihilating life everywhere they could. With their immense power, the judges of death have accomplished this. The Dark Judges are Judge Dredd's arch enemies who first appeared in 2000 AD and the Megazine. 2000 AD is a weekly science fiction comic published in the United Kingdom. It was initially published by IPC Magazines in 1977 with the first issue dated February 26th. It is a comics anthology that serializes stories in each issue. Rebellion Developments has been publishing it since 2000. 2000 AD is most known for its Judge Dredd adventures, which were supplied by a variety of internationally renowned artists and writers, including Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons, and Grant Morrison, among others. Judge Dredd is a law enforcement and judicial official in Megacity 1, a dystopian future city that spans most of North America's East Coast. He is a street judge with the power to arrest, convict, sentence, and execute criminals on the spot, and Judge Mortis happens to be one of his major adversaries. In today's video, we will take a look at the terrifying Judge Mortis. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Judge Mortis origin. With the aim to explain to all of you how Judge Mortis became the terrifying entity as he appears today, we have to delve right back into the setting and history of the Judge Dredd series. The Dark Judges are alien superfiends, or simply put, 4 zombie judges that killed the populace of a parallel Earth named Deadworld. This Earth was similar to Judge Dredd's, but with less sophisticated technology and a lower concern about damage and death. Judges in this society were often corrupt, and they administered aggressive medication to their subjects, making them more violent and securing their leaders' devotion. At some point, a young judge named Sidney DeAth came to the conclusion that because all crime is the product of sentient life and having free will, life is impure and must be deemed a crime. He came to be known as Judge Death because he often condemned individuals to death even for minor infractions. Later, he recruited 3 younger judges who shared his viewpoints. Judge Fire, Judge Fear, and Judge Mortis were the names given to them over time. The scary part is, death, they believe, is the finest method to restore order and remove chaos. Let us now take a look into who Judge Mortis was before he was recruited by Judge Death. Judge Mortis was formerly a person who resided on the parallel realm known as Deadworld, where he slowly, over time, became a fetid, unwholesome monster. He loved visiting cemeteries as a boy and believed the dead to be his buddies. He then worked as a judge in his world's fascist police force as an adult before being converted into his zombie form by the Sisters of Death's black sorcery. As a result, he, along with Judge Fire and Judge Fear, became one of Judge Death's dark judges. Mortis resembled a human in the early phases of his transition before transforming into a rotten, decaying animal. Then he embarked on a voyage into orbit where he was exposed to space's vacuum and had his flesh ripped from his head, leaving him with nothing but a bestial skull. Thus, when Judge Death met the Sisters of Death, Phobia and Nausea, 2 wicked witches who seem to share similar ideals about death's purity, they take on their terrifying forms. The Sisters are monstrous entities from another dimension that acquire power by supporting genocide through agents and avatars, something Sidney was unaware of at the time. The sisters then propose killing Judge Death and his 3 minions and further treating their remains with alchemical dead fluids which would turn them into powerful undead monsters. They complied and the undead Dark Judges were born. The Dark Judges have repeatedly attacked Megacity 1, with their most notable victory being the Necropolis incident, in which they conquered the city and exterminated a large portion of its population, an estimated 60 million people, while also temporarily inducting Judge Kraken, Dredd's clone brother. However, they have always been defeated in the end. typically by Judge Dredd or his sidekick, the psychic Judge Anderson. There were previously many more Dark Judges according to the series The Fall of Deadworld, but Death and his 3 main lieutenants appear to be the only ones left currently. Judge Dredd is not without his own peculiarities. Mortis, who appears to be a bit of a science geek, acquired control of his country's environmental management during the collapse of Deadworld, utilizing it to infuse corpse fluids into food and water supplies, as well as to generate disastrous weather events. He also created a dead matter bomb by distilling dead fluids into an unstable, super heavy solid, which he used to demolish Megazine, the Sov Federation's capital. Mortis was supposed to be the most deranged of the 4 in Deadworld, amused himself with horrific experiments with the dead and corpse manipulation. He is usually all business during missions, and he also has no qualms about killing children. Mortis is also largely concerned about eternal life and is continually looking for ways to pass the time, including inhuman experimentation. He has appeared to be a friendly creature in the past in order to gain others' trust, in order to lure them into traps or persuade them to lure others. If he can, he enjoys extending his kills as much as possible. He cultivated a corpse garden and worked in a variety of projects, including creating wine from ground-up remains, being proof of his bizarre nature. In fact, when aliens arrived, Mortis tried to gain their trust by telling them about the other worlds he could destroy. He ended up slaying them joyously and now waits for his chance to leave off-world when more aliens arrived. As far as physical appearance goes, Judge Mortis is a walking corpse, to put it bluntly. He is one of the living dead after all. His skull has been replaced with that of a cow or steer, giving him an especially gruesome appearance. This does not appear to be affecting him in any way. The skeleton has reduced the little flesh left on his figure, which is greenish in color. Mortis was a tall man among regular people, and he also had long and twisted fingers, as well as a short tail. He was also dressed in a ragged judge's uniform with a skeletal bat creature in place of an eagle above his left shoulder and a rack of bones on the right shoulder. His emblem was a flying human skull and his belt buckle was a horse skull. Only Mortis and Fire are without their own helmets among the Dark Judges. His abilities: Power of Decay. Next, we come to the various powers and abilities he possesses that make him truly terrifying. Because you cannot kill what does not live, the 4 Dark Judges frequently declare that they cannot be stopped. These zombie villains aren't invincible, but they do have supernatural abilities such as superhuman strength and harm resistance. They have the ability to manipulate and occupy people's thoughts psychically. A Dark Judge's spirit is discharged as a gaseous form when a host body is destroyed, and it can infect and occupy a new host body. The Dark Judge's full power returns once the new host body is destroyed and turned undead. Telepathically, or on the astral world, it is possible to fight and hurt the Dark Judge's spirits. It's also feasible to contain a Dark Judge's spirit before it infects a new host body. For example, in special iso-cube cells, or a glassine crystal that can only be split with liquid nitrogen, Judge Death, the most renowned of the 4 Dark Judges, speaks with a distinctive hiss. Their signature phrase is often quoted with their trademark hiss: "Life is the crime, the sentence is death." Coming to Judge Mortis specifically, Mortis resembled a cloud of greenish fog in his most basic form. He is invincible to most attacks in this form. He can also travel through minor gaps like keyholes, but not through completely flawless obstacles. He can momentarily possess living victims in this form. He won't be able to use his other abilities until he has control of a properly prepared corpse. Mortis is far more lethal while inhabiting a corpse, as his touch is corrosive, which is his hallmark power, as he is the only one who possesses the ability to do it. Other skills, including long-distance mental control, have been demonstrated by Mortis and his fellow Dark Judges on occasion. However, he is not without his own weaknesses, as it turns out that Judge Mortis can be temporarily incapacitated by a high-X bullet, as demonstrated by then Cadet Giant in 2000 AD, Prague 689, and he is unable to disperse and escape when he is in a host body except for defense and move through smaller spaces. Having said this, he continues to be quite the fearsome adversary, since his mortals are beyond basic human logic and he is indifferent to most things, which is what makes him truly dangerous. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.